Neil Stevenson, father of the bride.
Thank you for that lovely welcome. It's hello to everyone. Someone once said that the first 10 minutes of your life are the most dangerous 10 minutes of your life. The way I look at it, the last 10 minutes aren't that clever either. But it's the next 10 minutes I'm going to focus on. I have a job to do here. You can't imagine what a pleasure it is for me to be standing here in front of you, toasting the new Mr. and Mrs. Borthwick, namely Alan and Sarah. But then, after the 4.5 years that I've gone through, I can say it's just a pleasure to be standing anywhere. It's still, thank you, John. It's still hard to believe that 3 years ago, one doctor told me I wouldn't see the end of 2014. Never mind walk my daughter up the aisle in September 2016, which only goes to prove they don't know it all. Anyway, a big welcome to you all. I'd like to have special welcomes, though, deserved by some of our long-distance travellers. We have the Davidson Troop from Florida. We're trying to justify a trip to Old Trafford last night by saying it was a good game and they enjoyed it. Well, I watched it on the television. It wasn't any of that. But there we go. Yes. I'd like also to welcome Paul and Saskia Hendricks. They've come over from Holland. And we have also have guests from South Wales, Daryl and Jean Rees, who I met on holiday in 1971. And who says holiday friendships don't last? Eh? We've got guests from Scotland, as far north as Aberdeen, Ireland, and even Knaresborough. I must also refer, I'll say anonymously, to those of you amongst us who've had a tough year with your health. I know a few of you have, and I'm delighted that you've been able to make it here today. I hope you have a good day and you've enjoyed yourself. And having just mentioned tough times health-wise, let me say that how proud I am that Sarah and Alan decided to forego personal wedding presents in favour of guests making donations to Macmillan Cancer Support. It's a charity that the family thinks highly of. It's quite a coincidence, actually. This is September the 30th, and this is the day of the Macmillan, the nationwide Macmillan Coffee Morning. So, you know, we've kind of joined into that. I'm able to tell you that until today, we've received north of £12,000. I think that's absolutely magic. However, if there's any person here who hasn't yet given, there's still time. And as a footnote, I will accept cash if everything else is embarrassing. Back to the script. This is also an occasion when we all might have a thought or two about absent friends. In my case, I think of my late mother, Sarah's Nana, who died 18 months ago at the age of 103. Nobody lives forever, but my God, she gave it a good try. If there is one upside to Mother's absence today, it is that I feel I can speak freely, not dreading a tug at my jacket, which I've got off now, with the dreaded words of, "Sit down, Neil, I think you've said enough." I'm getting heckled. But let me repeat, welcome to everyone on this special and unique occasion. I use the word unique because I've never seen Alan and Sarah at the table before, not attached to their iPhones. And where's Charlotte Arnold? Has she got hers switched off? Ah, look, you see it. Very good. Right. It's also special for Alan Sr. and Shirley, who are seeing the first of their family get married. And it's a big day, too, for Margaret and me, this being the big wedding that we never had, and to welcome Alan into our family. And it's the biggest of big days, of course, for Alan and Sarah, as they embark on their married life together. But before I get on with my job of toasting Alan and Sarah, there's a couple of two or three thank yous to say. To the hotel and the staff, thank you for accommodating this grand occasion. To the senior, I'll call her senior wedding planner, Zoe, she's beyond that, but having sickened 2 wedding planners early on, she determined to stick with us to the end of the course. So thank you to Zoe and to Charlotte for their help. And I should also say their patience and tolerance of my fastidiousness. And to Annie, my wedding PA from Langham, who has, she must have gone through a whole ream of A4 with typing stuff out and whatever, but it's all done and we're here and we're actually running to time, which is magic. And I can say that small gifts of appreciation have already been presented to these people. I'd like to go on now with a true story. There was a show jumping judge who'd been left by her husband. He'd gone off with a younger model. I'll call them Judy and Brian because, well, that was their names actually. And it was either at the Otley or the Bingley show. I wasn't there, but this tale is not apocryphal. This is right. Brian Thompson had 4 faults, 1 fence down. And Judge Judy said, well, that was Brian Thompson there, and he has 4 faults. And I'm going to tell you about every one of them. And she proceeded to let rip over the microphone in front of the whole crowd about all his failings. Right? Now that brings me to Alan. You know, I'm going to be nice. I'm not going to elaborate on any of his imperfections. But I have to say the obvious thing is, if he has only 4 faults, it means he has negotiated the rest of life's course without any problems. Just 1 down. I have to say one thing, though. He does support the wrong United. Can't have that one. Now, Sarah, she's been sitting here quietly, maybe smirking a little bit. I have to point out in her case, in show jumping parlance, you get 4 faults for a refusal, and 2 refusals is elimination. The romantic tale started nearly 5 years ago. Margaret and I were never sure if the relationship was going anywhere at all, especially when 2 years ago, Alan assessed that he was 9th in Sarah's pecking order, behind 7 horses and Tilly the dog. Somebody once asked me if Tilly, well, she's a Springer Spaniel. They said, is she a Shih Tzu? I said, no. A Shih Tzu is a zoo with no animals. Think about that. Anyway. There's a slow burn time to that joke, I think. Anyway, about 14 months ago, Alan came to see me. He wanted to ask me if he could ask Sarah to marry him. My response was, he can ask her anything you want, but I've no damned idea what she'll say. I was kind of let him down gently, you know. And he says, I said to her, have you discussed it with her? No. And then he says, I've bought a ring, and it came out of his pocket. And I thought, well, that's a hell of a risk. I said, Alan, you've bought a ring, and you've never discussed it with her. That's a hell of a risk. He says, no, really, I've got 28 days to take it back. Alan, anyway, he went back to Harrogate that afternoon. He found Sarah in her riding gear, not happy, having had a bad day with the horses at the Driffield show. Alan was still wearing his best suit, but by now he had a pair of Wellingtons on. Picture this, the 2 of them were sitting on an upturned water trough, exercising the dog by throwing a ball for her to chase. Then Alan drops onto 1 knee and proposes. I'm told that there was a silence of several seconds before Sarah gave a response, which I'm told was, Have you spoken to my dad? Well, here we are, 14 months later, on what has become laughingly referred to in the family as Neil's big day. My big day. You know? Well, I suppose it is, but it is also an emotional day for any number of personal reasons. It's a day when, if I can wax eloquent for a second, say love permeates the occasion and saturates the proceedings. Not just the love that the bride and groom have for each other, but also the affection that everybody in the room feels for them. I can feel that affection around me now. And if you'll bear with me, I'd just like to sum the situation up in a short poem. I didn't write it. The wonderful love of a beautiful maid, and the love of a staunch true man, and the love of a baby unafraid have been with us since time began. But the greatest love, the love of all love, even greater than that of a mother, is the tender, passionate, infinite love of one drunken slob for another. I was tempted to change the last word and say one drunken usher for another, but I resisted it. Joking aside, what are our wishes for Alan and Sarah? Firstly, I would have to say the best of health, top of the list. Because without that, you have not nothing, but you certainly have a hill to climb. God knows, I know how tough life can become when your health isn't behaving the way that you'd expect it to. Secondly, a long life together. If you've got the health to enjoy it, then let's hope it lasts for a long, long time. And thirdly, a lifetime of happiness and fulfillment. And so my toast and my wish for them is health and a long and happy life together. So would you please be upstanding and drink a toast to Alan and Sarah, the new Mr. and Mrs. Borthwick.
Thank you. On behalf of my wife and I, that one out. I'd like to thank you all for being here today to help us celebrate our wedding. We're both extremely grateful for everyone that has donated to Macmillan Cancer on our behalf. This is a charity close to our hearts, as we have seen firsthand the hard work that Macmillan nurses do to help support victims and families of cancer. And I am sure the money donated will go a long way to help support the lives of so many people. So from both of us, thank you. Neil, thank you for your kind words, and also to you, Margaret and yourself for putting on and organising today's celebrations. I am sure everyone here will agree that today has run very smoothly, and everyone seems to be having a great time. I'd also like to thank both of you for taking me into your family. Sarah has a very close bond with the both of you, and it's meant a lot that you made me feel like part of your family and were supportive from the moment you found out about us. Probably not the right words, but... As Neil said, the first words that Sarah said when I asked her to marry me were, "Have you asked my dad?" So that you can see from that, our relationship would not be as strong without the support of you two. Mum, Dad, thank you for being here today and for all your help and support over the years. I'm probably not the easiest son to have raised, and I know I don't tell you often enough, but I am hugely grateful for everything you have done for me, and I love you both. Also, thank you for the generous gift of our honeymoon. For anyone that doesn't know, we're going to Mauritius. So. Before the wedding, we give our parents a little token of our appreciation, but we have some flowers for my mother, and for Margaret as well. For anyone that doesn't know the man over there to my left, that is David. He's my best man today. I chose David to be my best man, as he has always been there for me and always willing to help when I need him. We've had a lot of fun times together, some of which I hope he doesn't share in his speech. But thank you, David, for being such a good friend. And as a little gift, you can do a speech after me. So. I have 3 ushers here who have helped me throughout today and helped made today run very smoothly. Gordon, Bloomer and Sped, again like David and all my friends here, Gordon, Bloomer and Sped have always been about to help me. And as a little thank you, we've left something on the table for you. So thank you. Scott, thank you for coming down from Langham to do a blessing on our marriage. Having our hometown minister travelling all this way means a lot to both of us. So thank you to you and your wife for coming down. Mark and Sophie, thank you for doing the readings today. You were both excellent. I'm sure everyone will agree with that. Having 2 of our closest friends do a reading during the service meant a lot to us. So again, thank you from both of us. Also, thank you to the bridesmaids, Marianne and Lorna. You both look lovely today. Today wouldn't have been the same without you helping my beautiful bride. Lastly, to my wife. The first 5 years have flown by, and I just want to say a massive thank you for always being there for me, making me happy, and marrying me. I love you and can't wait for the many more years to come. If everyone can remain seated, I would like to raise a glass to my wife. Sarah, I love you. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a good night.
Hello, everyone. I know it's not conventional, the bride making a speech, but at least I know on this occasion I will get the last word. I hope you're all having as good a time as my husband and I are today. I know Alan has already said some words of thanks, but I would also like to take this opportunity to say some of my own. Thank you to all our friends and family for your generous donations to Macmillan Cancer Support. I know you're all aware, but the charity means an awful lot to us and they do such fantastic work, and we are really very overwhelmed by everyone's generosity. I'd like to thank my parents for helping us have such a special day today. You've done so much for me over the years, and there are no words to describe how grateful I really am for everything. I love you both very much. I've joked a lot in the lead up to the wedding that this is my dad's big day, and that Alan and I are just accessories in it. But to me, this isn't just Alan and mine's big day. It is a big day for my dad. He has been through so much over the past 4.5 years, and he is still off treatment and proving the doctors wrong. So to me, that is a cause for celebration. And in Dad's words, KBO, keep battling on. Thank you to my mum for everything you have done and continue to do for me. Thank you for all your support and help in the lead up to the wedding. We have had a lot of laughs along the way. Thank you for all your expert help mucking out on Christmas Day and New Year's Day. You will now have to teach Alan how to be as good. Thank you, Shirley and Alan, for welcoming me into your family. From the first time I was introduced, it has been a laugh a minute, and you have made me feel like I have known you all my life. I would also like to say a huge thank you for the amazing honeymoon you have given Alan and I. We are thoroughly looking forward to going to Mauritius. As I am an only child, it is nice to have gained a sister in Alex. I really don't know how you've put up with your brother all these years. Thank you to my brilliant bridesmaids, Lorna and Marianne. You look gorgeous today. I know I moaned a lot about not wanting a hen do, but you did the right thing in ignoring me, as it was brilliant. Thank you to Alan's best man, David, and ushers Graham, Gordon and Michael for making sure Alan came home in one piece from his stag and making sure he got here on time today. I'd like to take a moment to remember those who can't be with us today. My pop and gran, my nana and papa, and also Alan's Auntie Anne and Nana. I'm sure they are celebrating with us tonight. There is one person in particular who I would like to remember, my best friend Laura. Unfortunately, 6 years ago she was taken from us, but there isn't a day goes by where she isn't in my thoughts. There have been a few times I've said I have an invisible bridesmaid, so she could be part of this special day. Last, but definitely not least, I would like to say a massive thank you to my husband. I know I probably don't tell you enough how much you mean to me, but I would like to take this opportunity to tell you how happy I am to have you in my life forever. The moment I knew Alan was the man for me was when he first met Tilly, my dog. She likes nobody, and for some strange reason, she took to him straight away. Our relationship also could have been a recipe for disaster, as Alan used to be deathly allergic to horses, but thankfully now he isn't, so he is able to muck in, or should I say, muck out. In all seriousness though, Alan has been and continues to be amazing. We had only been together 3 months when my parents went on a trip of a lifetime to Australia and New Zealand. When they were there, unfortunately, my dad had a run-in with a pothole, which shattered the top of his arm. I was all for flying out there, but Alan made sure I stayed put and looked after me. Not only has he been a great support to me, he has supported my mum and dad too. Thank you, Shirley and Alan, for raising such a kind and amazing man. I would like to finish by asking you all to remain seated as I stand and raise a glass to my husband, Alan. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. May I first of all introduce myself. To those that you don't know me, I'm David, I'm the best man. I was honoured when Alan asked me if I was up for the job. I knew there would be at least 3 reasons why he asked. Number 1, he knew I could round up all his friends for his stag do. Number 2, he wanted to look taller in the photographs. And number 3, he knew I'd be extremely nervous. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I started to panic about the speech as soon as he asked me, and that was well over a year ago. Hence the hair loss. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I'd like to thank Neil for encouraging me with my speech, even when he was visibly annoyed at having to pay £1.80 to retrieve an unstamped wedding reply from the post office. Did you ever pay for that, Logan? Public speaking definitely is not my strong point, but if you want a new bed or carpet, I'm your man. I believe the first job is to deal with the greeting cards, but there are so many of them, I'll not bore you with them. Needless to say, they wish you every happiness in the world. So now that sets me free to deal with Alan and Sarah. So here I am, and where do I start? I first met Alan, who has taken several names over the years. Bush, Babushka, Douglas, and my favourite one, Tit. When we were both at play school and we were aged 4. And he's taken great pleasure in annoying me ever since. From then on, things got progressively worse. We've been through many things together, including puberty, drinking, partying, travelling, and of course, the infamous Borthwick holiday. I would love to tell you all about them, but unfortunately, my solicitor has told me I could be sued. But I'm sure a couple of stories would be okay. I'm not sure if everyone would be aware, but that Bush is particularly affectionate towards me. Especially after a few drinks. I've learned that when sharing a bed with Alan after a night out, he does become, how would you say, friendly. However, through experience, I've learnt my lesson, especially after the kilt incident. This being the only item of clothing he did actually remove. And now there are pillows always positioned down the middle of the bed. And did you know, Father Bush, aka Big Bush, has actually devised a spelling test to determine how drunk young Bush is. This was thought up after a few drunken incidents. The first few words are quite easy: cat, dog, car, etc. But the final one is a tad more difficult: Tchaikovsky. Bush, would like to spell it out, please? It did take him 8 years and a degree in maths to learn that it actually starts with a silent T. Talking of Bush's affectionate side, whilst at a wedding in Glasgow, myself, Bush, Sarah, and my girlfriend Rachel, we were enjoying drinks at the reception when all of a sudden Rachel gave Bush a very strange look. She looked down and Bush was absent-mindedly stroking her leg. He was shocked and embarrassed, as he thought it was Sarah that was sitting next to him. People did question the nature of the group friendship after this. Bush did sober up very quickly, but then was encouraged by Mark to down a gravy boat full of peppercorn sauce for £20. Naturally, Bush likes a challenge and happily agreed. All right. Not only is Bush my best mate, his new wife is like a sister to me, which makes the wedding doubly special for me. And you all must admit how beautiful she looks. As you can plainly see, Bush is punching well above his weight. Seriously though, I think marriage should not be about finding someone you can live with. It should be about finding someone you can't live without. And I'm sure I speak on behalf of everyone here when I say that it is clear that this is what Sarah and Alan have. So, ladies and gentlemen, would you please remain seated whilst I drink a personal toast to my lifelong pal and his new wife, Sarah. The new Mr. and Mrs. Borthwick.